Ukraine's troops continue their offensive south of Bakhmut, achieving successes near Klischiyivka, Otradovka, Shumy, according to the head of the press service of the eastern grouping of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Ilya Yevlash. Defense Forces of Ukraine continued the offensive operations south of Bakhmut. Definite successes have been achieved in the areas of Klischiyivka, Otradovka, and Shumy over the past day. Speaking on the national telethon, Ilya Yevlash said, "Our defenders continue their offensive and dislodge the occupiers from the occupied borders, continue to consolidate their positions. Also, the enemy does not abandon his idea to recapture the lost positions near Klischiyivka and Andreyivka, constantly storming and delivering fire strikes on the positions of our defenders. We are holding the defense, we are holding our borders securely, and we continue to inflict fire damage on the enemy." The 22nd Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine works on the outskirts of Klischiyivka and destroys the Russians with mortar fire. The head of the press service of the eastern grouping of the Armed Forces of Ukraine pointed out that over the past day, the enemy fired 544 times from various weapons, including heavy artillery systems and tank weapons, at the positions of Ukrainian defenders. There were 7 military clashes. The enemy used its tactical and army aviation 4 times. As Ilya Yevlash added, Ukraine's troops managed to eliminate 115 occupiers in this direction, and 3 surrendered, the 56th Motorized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in action. According to the representative of the Eastern Grouping, Ukrainian counter-battery units working in close cooperation with the UAV units show a high effectiveness in destruction of Russian artillery systems. A Russian T-90M, 3 T-72B3 tanks, and a BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicle were destroyed by the Ukrainian army during a recent Russian offensive attempt near Novozhorivka, Luhansk Oblast. Ukraine's General Staff said in a post on social media on Sunday that its forces continue to repel Russian attacks around Klischiyivka. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said on that same day that an artillery strike carried out by its southern grouping of forces killed around 30 Ukrainian fighters near the village. Ukraine's counteroffensive continues making progress. Russia has seen some bad news out of Ukraine in recent days as Kyiv's counteroffensive makes more progress. Ukraine's troops managed to destroy 4 installations in Mesta B and 1 Mesta C, 1 203mm peony, 2 self-propelled Jatsint, and, in addition, 8 D-30 guns as well as 2 anti-tank guns MT-12 Rapira. That is, a fairly powerful blow was received by the enemy's artillery group in this direction. They also destroyed 3 cars, 2 ammunition depots, and 1 electronic warfare station. We constantly continue to identify enemy command posts, their control points with drones, identify their locations and strike at them, Ilya Yevlash noted. Defense Express reported earlier that Ukraine's troops are succeeding in elimination of Russia's artillery systems. We also wrote that the Armed Forces of Ukraine could break previous record by destroying 442 Russian barrel artillery systems in the first half of September. The losses that the Russians suffered during the battles on the fronts of the Russian-Ukrainian war became known. In particular, the Defense Forces of Ukraine eliminated more than 2,800 Russian invaders, 39 tanks, 76 combat armored vehicles, 198 artillery systems, and 39 missiles over the past week. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his military retook control of Klischiyivka, a town located southwest of Bakhmut, on September 17, marking a critical victory for Ukraine's latest counteroffensive. Launched in June, Ukraine's most recent effort at reclaiming captured territory appeared to move at a slower pace than the country's allies, which had provided it with substantial military aid initially hoped for. But the victory in Klischiyivka provided Ukraine a much-needed boost in its counter-offensive that has since seen positive indicators. Ukrainian troops walked through a forest in the Luhansk region on September 30. Russian soldiers said Ukrainian troops were better armed while fighting for control of the village of Klischiyivka in a new video that has surfaced on social media Saturday. In Klischiyivka, from the lakeside, 2 Leopards are operating. The zone is fully fired through and shelled with clusters. Moving out are 10 of us, and 5 are covering only because we didn't take them, so we have a chance to come out, the soldier said. Ukraine's armed forces have previously released footage of HIMARS strikes on the known as mortar carriers. As of Saturday, Russian forces had lost 38 of them since the start of the war. This is according to Oryx, a website which counts equipment losses of both sides using open sources. The US-supplied HIMARS have given Ukraine extra capability on the battlefield, and this week, Kiev released footage appearing to show their use in a strike on a Russian command center in the occupied southern Kherson region. As Ukraine steps up its longer-range strikes on Russian targets, the US has agreed to supply Army Tactical Missile Systems ATACMS. These have a range close to 200 miles and could give greater capability to strike far behind enemy lines in the south and the east, including Crimea. The document also indicates Putin is not yet ready to relinquish his illegitimate claim of 4 Ukrainian regions he annexed to Russia last year, as the report said integrating the Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia oblasts.